Hello, I'm Carol Martin. Welcome back to Apostrophes, Commas, Everything. In this video, I shine a light on the comma. The comma marks a slight break between different parts of a sentence. Its purpose is to make the meaning clear. It's kind of 2IC, second in command, behind the full stop. It's the vice captain. Commas are used for a pause that would occur if the sentence were spoken aloud, after an introductory word, to separate items in a series or list, to separate adjectives, before a direct quote, in apposition, to separate what's being spoken from the person being spoken to, and in interruptions. And I'll clarify each of those as we go. Remember, the guiding principle is to use the comma to create a pause so as to make your meaning clear to the reader or listener. The first use of the comma on our list is for a pause that would occur if the sentence were spoken aloud. For example, when I meet my friend who lives down the road, we like to ride our bikes to the park. I think a pause is needed here after road because it's a rather long sentence. The comma here is not essential, just advisable. After an introductory word, like well and yes, you would normally pause, so put a comma in. For example, well, today we only found 3 shells. And yes, I think you're right. Next use of the comma is an important one. It's to separate items in a series or list. For example, I like drawing with lead pencils, felt-tipped pens and charcoal. Tonight we're having fish, chips, salad and corn. So the items in the list are separated using a comma except the last one, which follows and. There are those who like to put a comma before the and. Now, this Oxford or serial comma, I think, really only needs to be used to make the meaning clear, as in my last example. Tonight we're having fish, chips, salad and corn, and ice cream for dessert. The fourth use of the comma on our list is to separate adjectives. For example, I'm wearing my thick tartan jacket today. It was a long, difficult and uninteresting journey. In a list of 3 or more adjectives, as in my last example here, you might like to use and before the last one rather than a comma, as you would in any list or series. Next on our list is before a direct quote, that is, the exact words someone has spoken which are framed by quotation marks or inverted commas. For example, Dad asked, "What's funny about my shirt?" We all laughed when Sam answered, "Nothing, Dad." In apposition means that 2 nouns or noun groups are placed beside each other so that one describes or defines the other. The extra information is framed by commas. For example, my uncle Arlo, a doctor, is moving to the country. Frankie, my beautiful parakeet, has flown away. I love my dog Shadow and she loves me. The next use of the comma is my favourite, and it's the most often forgotten comma. It's to separate what's being spoken from the person being spoken to. And in my first example, the old favourite which I wish I'd thought of because it's very funny without the comma, let's eat, Grandma. Would you like a piece of cake, Alex? Happy birthday, Helen. Or you could put the name of the person being spoken to first. Grandma, let's eat. Alex, would you like a piece of cake? Helen, happy birthday. Whichever way you put it, it needs a comma. The final use of the comma is in interruptions or embedded clauses. For example, the folk festival, I think, will be a great success. The doctor, I know, will be able to help you. My cousin, as it happens, can play the cello. Now, in the second example, without the commas, the meaning is ambiguous. It could mean, the doctor I know will be able to help you. But with commas framing I know, the meaning is clear. So always use commas to make the meaning clear. Use commas cautiously and wisely. What do you think of the punctuation in this first sentence? Our neighbour, a poet, is, I think, a wordsmith. Now it's perfectly punctuated, but I think too many commas. So I've reworded it, and instead of 4 commas, there are now only 2. I think our neighbour, a poet, is a wordsmith. I haven't changed the meaning, just the punctuation. This is not an exhaustive list of the uses of commas, but it's enough. I have clarified some points with the New South Wales Department of Education's information on curriculum taught in New South Wales schools. In fact, that's where the quote, use commas cautiously and wisely comes from. I love that advice. However, I didn't limit my scope to that curriculum. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, informative and useful. Thank you for watching.